Well, hello my baby gorillas, and we're back at Westminster, and what are we going to talk about today? The weapons of mass distraction. Carl Benjamin came out with something that was very interesting the other day there, and he was talking about the situation that had arisen with the minister, Mr. Handcock. Is it Handcock, is it? I think somebody else had the hand anyway. So what this was about was, why was there a camera in a minister's office, and what are the security procedures? Like, is there like cameras in the Prime Minister's office, and is there any chance, if there are, of live streaming it? Because I'm sure Boris's cabinet office would be absolutely fantastic to watch. I mean, you'd really get all sorts of shenanigans going on there, wouldn't you? So that would be absolutely great. That would be highly entertaining, and being locked in your house for 18 months over a virus that's 99% survivable, plus that we would actually get to see what goes on in the Prime Minister's office. And I think that would be great television. It'd put Yes Prime Minister or Yes Minister on the complete back burner, knowing what Bojo was up to half the time in his office. And how many other offices in here have been bugged with hidden cameras? I know for a kick-off I'd be sweeping every time I came in to find out if I'd been bugged or not, in case I was having affairs with my hired help. Wouldn't you? You just want to make sure that if you're getting groped about and kissed in your office, that there's no cameras in it, wouldn't you? Jeez, but as Piers Corbyn, don't forget to tune into the BitChute channel, which has got the interview, What Happened with Piers Morgan. He's correctly pointing out about the New World Order. Tune into that on BitChute, Guerrilla TV on BitChute. What's happening there with the New World Order? Is this an article of mass distraction for the populace, is it? Is this whole shenanigan, which I reckon we'll see Handcock come back in and at a later date is be magically restored and recuperated, as he maybe had to take one for the team, I think it's called, taking it for the team, splitting up with his wife, oh my goodness, and distracting us from what Piers Corbyn, who is obviously Jeremy Corbyn's brother, who's fantastic, the Guerrilla TV's favourite Corbyn brother, is talking about in the BitChute channel. Couldn't write it, honestly, couldn't write it. So this is the major issue that we've got. The major issue. The New World Order are making moves now. They're making moves against the populace, and they are deliberately becoming increasingly authoritarian. We see that Nicola Sturgeon, the Scottish nationalist, is almost working policy for policy in tandem with the Conservative Party for the New World Order agenda, and reducing people's freedoms in Scotland. As Piers Corbyn rightly said, this is not a left or right thing. This is authoritarianism versus us on the libertarian side. We are the Jedis and they are the evil order. They are Darth Vader. And this is the problem we've got. We have got, it's not a left versus right, it's authoritarianism versus libertarianism argument. And whether or not we should have been locked in our house. I mean, I'll come on and talk to you about immigration in a minute. But can it be that serious? If this was a pandemic and it was really scary and people were having to protect themselves against it, you wouldn't be letting people walk into your country from the war-torn country of France, would you? Turn up in dinghies with a pandemic going about, would you? Doesn't really make any sort of sense. Not being able to return them to France. I don't know why they're not going back to country of origin. That doesn't make any sense at all. DNA test them back to country of origin. So, the fact that we have de facto open immigration, I'll come on to in the next video. But has the Handcock, Handjive, whatever his name is, story just been a smokescreen to prevent other information going to the already oligopoly press, where the press can prevent or distract the populace with stories that they think is salacious, or, oh, I can't believe he did that, that's really bad, while at the same time hiding other information from coming out because it is controlled. The press are now controlled opposition rather than journalists. The controlled opposition is like now like the New World Order's lapdogs, and they will attack publications like the Guerrilla TV channel, where we actually address political issues and don't shirk them like the mainstream media. They attack us, but we attack them right back. If they want to play that game, we will go for them on an individual basis as well, or a company basis, if that's the way they want to play it. So, as you can see, the bells are tolling for the beginning of the end of the New World Order. The evil empire, the one world government ruled by the Sith. And only us young plucky rebels can stop it and return to a libertarian future, a future for freedom and not for tyranny, under a technocracy of the New World Order, where you use cash less and less. I don't even literally carry cash just now, which we have to carry cash and pay by cash to stop them controlling the money supply. They reduce the actual coins and notarage, and then they're able to control and can switch off your money at their whim. Also moves better to move towards cryptocurrency and other currency, where we can actually then have a greater control. Oh, sorry, I was just stopped the bikes there. Greater control, and not allow the money to be controlled, the monetary supply to be controlled by those in power, and those that are controlling our money and how much it's been produced. So, I mean, these are all things that you have to take care about. This is things you have to understand. You, as Piers Morgan correctly pointed out, who may be coming to Glasgow because of the Guerrilla TV channel, they will only know this and only know about this when more people actually stand up. And Piers will hopefully come to Glasgow on the 24th, where he will speak to a plethora of people. We can get him up, that will certainly increase the numbers. I think it's in George Square in Glasgow. Piers Morgan comes up to Glasgow to have a chat up in Glasgow and spreads himself about a bit of the UK. Hopefully, we've already seen the great things he's doing down in London. It will certainly increase the numbers. There you are, Steve. How you doing? Come on up, Steve, and say hello to the Guerrilla TV channel. Come on up. There's my pal Stevie boy. Steve.
Hello, everyone.
This is Steve, our old friend Steve. How you doing, Steve? What's been happening, bud?
Well, Brexit's got the UK done. We got a Tory lying government. And look, whatever people's views, whatever you voted for, we're all victims of this Tory corrupt government.
Yeah, I was just talking to Piers Morgan there, Steve.
Yeah.
And Piers was talking about, obviously we've all been locked in for the last year. He's making a lot of sense just now. What's your thoughts on the
Look, all these lockdowns are because Boris Johnson and his cronies were incompetent. Take back control, they said. Control our borders. They didn't.
And what's happening now with you, Steve? The Brexit got the UK done.
Yeah.
Done. But what's your thoughts now? There's no vaccine for Tory lies. Interesting. So tell us about what's your thoughts just now, Steve?
Well, look, we got this corrupt Tory government, and more people are realising what's going on. Brexit was a big con, the biggest con in UK history, and people are starting to realise that slowly. You'll always have your diehards that love it. You know, I'd rather die and go hungry and all this nonsense. Yeah, right.
It's quite difficult though I don't disagree with well I do disagree with you, but I understand where you come from. It's a bit difficult to judge the strengths and weaknesses of Brexit because of the coronavirus for this period. I think we would have got clearer. I think we would have got if this hadn't happened, which your side says, you can't hide Brexit impact under COVID anymore. Interesting. Although, having said that, Steve, I've seen the numbers for the rebound from the Brexit. It seems like there's quite strong potential growth of up to 7% growth, which would only take us back to the pre-COVID time.
Well, yeah, all this growth now is only what we lost.
That's right. It's only what we lost. Yeah. That's right, Steve.
Right. So the unmasked, as lockdown ends now, more and more people are going to realise they've been sold a pub. Brexit was a pub. Okay, no system is perfect, but what we had with the European Union, we had freedom of movement. If you're on holiday, roaming charges, all this. Freedom of movement was very important to a lot of people.
Well, we've obviously still got freedom of movement in the middle of a pandemic because there's people coming across from the war-torn country of France to actually come over with no free, papers or anything else. So there's obviously some level of freedom of movement, Steve.
Well, that's not exactly freedom of movement. These are people who are desperate. So how can you class that freedom of movement? I don't know. Yeah. And then you've got people like Priti Patel saying, let's put them all
in Rwanda, which doesn't make it. I think that's a false policy.
Probably, just like this royal yacht they're talking about.
Well, tell us the story. I don't know about this one, Steve.
Oh no, the £200 million royal yacht they're trying to commission. Although the royals don't want anything to do with it now.
So the government want to bring in it for the royals, and the royals don't want anything to do with it.
And they're funding it from the military budget.
And what's the logic for that?
Don't ask me, I have no idea. Apparently it's to sell Britain around the world, but the thing is, on our doorstep we had 500 million customers. And now look what we've got.
Well, we've got a few free trade deals going on now, Steve, have we not? Have we not got a few?
No. Let's look at what these trade deals are worth, shall we? Australia. It's worth 1p a week to each and every one of us.
Wow, that's not...
That's 52 pence a year, everyone.
Yeah, that's good.
I blew 120 years worth filling up my car. So,
what else have you been doing, Steve? What else has been happening? Are you still campaigning, though?
Absolutely, campaigning against this government. And, people want to rejoin. We're never going to get the same deal we had. But we need to be in the customs union and the single market in some shape so we can carry on trading. Look what's happened to the fishermen. Look what's happening to the farmers.
What's happened to the fishermen? Be specific. What's happened to the
fishermen? Cannot sell what they fish in Europe now because of the rules and regulations on shellfish.
Right.
So they can't sell the stock, mussels, clams, the likes.
And the farmers?
And the farmers now, they're worried about the imports of beef. So we've got a deal with Australia.
But surely we can export beef as well, though. It's not just a one-way.
Wait. Here's what the Australia deal is worth. Australia can export 8 times more to the UK than we can import to Australia. That's not a fair deal. And the other thing that comes
Why is that, Steve? Do you know? Why that is? Why?
You asked the people that did the crap deal.
All right, okay.
But in a nutshell, we were far better off with the European Union, with the deals we had. And this is a disaster. So farmers, fishermen, the finance sector, the banks are now moving offices into France, Germany, Holland. And they're taking the money that would have been paid here in taxes, which I think equates to almost £100 billion a year, which is almost enough to fund the NHS. Now, there's another story.
Right.
Privatisation of the NHS through the back door will cost us all in the end because we'll have to buy insurance, just like they do in America. And if you can't afford it, you die.
And do you think that? Why do you think that's about? Because that's been floated for a long period. Why is it?
They're already doing it. It started.
Explain.
It started with the data. So it's already started.
And the data, what do you mean there, Steve? Explain.
They're purchasing our data from our health service, ready for privatisation.
That's interesting. I didn't think the Tories would have privatised that. That's quite interesting.
Well, they are privatising it, but they're doing it slowly through the back door. And within 10 years, you'll soon realise, hey man, that guy was right.
No, it'll be very interesting. have you been protesting with the other media?
I have.
And is that where you're going to go?
Over there now, yes.
Steve, listen, it's always good to see you, buddy.
Thank you very much.
You're always welcome to the Guerrilla TV channel.
Cheers.
Thanks, my friend. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you. So that was Steve, our friend Steve there. We've had Steve on before, and he does a very compact job of actually putting his side across on and he doesn't miss. But at least he's dedicated to what he does. He maybe didn't get the argument there. I think we have to see because of the coronavirus. In the last 18 months have been a write-off. We don't really know, and I understand that Steve has got a point to prove, or push, should I say, not prove, a point to push. There's the LGBT flag up there. I don't know where that's flying over, up somebody's flag post, but I find it difficult from a more neutral political point that we can say for one way or another that that we've got something conclusive on exiting the EU. And to be honest with you, I've got a sneaky suspicion that the EU may collapse completely. I think more and more individuals will actually, or not individuals, more and more countries will come out of the European Union now. I think it's on shakier grounds than it ever has been. I think there's going to be more. I think Italy, there's an increasing Euroscepticism in Italy. I think in Hungary potentially as well. There's a few, and obviously in France as well. There's a few growing political parties throughout Europe that are definitely Eurosceptic. So just now I don't see how we can actually have judged anything over the last 18 months. There's no economic rebound, there's no economic decline, because obviously everything's happened by being locked in our homes by these people in here, and the authoritarianism, and back to what Piers Corbyn was pushing about the New World Order. So, I mean, it's just incredible. I hope you've enjoyed that. We've had some great things per chancity, and speaking to some very interesting people on the Guerrilla TV channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've been slabbering a bit today, but I think just now we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, where the pressure has to be kept up by the people to actually get us out of lockdown. And obviously there's talking about not having passports, having vaccine passports, which to me should not be mentioned in the same breath of anybody who says they're libertarian or liberal and wanting freedom for the individual, and not the power actually dictated to by the state, as does Nicola Sturgeon wanting the power dictated to by her in her wee Orwellian briefings that she does. She'll certainly miss those. So my baby gorillas, live from Westminster.